Welcome to Christmas from the North Pole, Christmas Countdown from Geek, Alabama. Join us every day during the Christmas season where we talk about stories from the North Pole and Santa Claus. And here to tell your stories is your host, Nathan Young. Welcome to the latest edition of Christmas from the North Pole, Christmas Countdown. Sorry it's a little late today. And it's been one of those weird days when you're not feeling too good. I don't have the flu or COVID. It's just kind of feel yucky, So it's been one of those days of just rest, relaxation, because I know for me, the next couple of weeks are going to be fun, covering a lot of stuff for pictures and videos, which I do on Geek, Alabama. So, speaking of my health, speaking of being a little under the weather today, let's talk about healthcare in the North Pole, because that's important. I mean, you got a lot of elves, you got Santa, Miss Santa, and a lot of other people, or elves, whatever you like to call them, up in the North Pole, and they gotta stay healthy year-round. And they're so remote and so far away from the nearest city that, it's hard to get proper medical care. So what happens is you have doctors and nurses that telehealth to the North Pole now. And the North Pole does have a medical professional at the North Pole at all times. So if something happened to Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, and one of the elves, they can get proper medical care. And if it got bad enough, they can be flown out to the North Pole to a hospital somewhere in Canada, because that's the closest where the hospitals are at. But the elves have to have yearly physicals. They gotta make sure everything's working fine. Same for Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus. They get yearly physicals as well to make sure nothing's happening. They're healthy, they're performing good, they're not sick, they don't have a bad disease brewing, So the physicals and the medical care that they see up the North Pole throughout the year, and the yearly physicals they get, are pretty important. Because for the elves making the toys, less like us humans, they might get an on-the-job injury. They might hit their thumb with a hammer, or they might be hit by wood or something. Accidents happen. So, just in case an accident happened, at least the elves can get proper medical care as well. So, yes, for everybody living at the North Pole, creature, animals, and people alike, they do have the proper medical care there. Because without it, you wouldn't be able to live in the North Pole. Pretty much. So there it is. Healthcare is very important in the North Pole. I hope you enjoyed this latest edition of Christmas for the North Pole Christmas Countdown. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for listening to Christmas from the North Pole Christmas Countdown. For more stories, articles, and podcasts, please log on to geekalabama.com.